The visit of Pope Francis will inevitably resurrect a controversial and unresolved issue on the introduction of Christianity to the Philippines, just where the first Holy Mass was celebrated. On his arrival, the Pope noted that the Church in the Philippines was preparing to celebrate the 5th centenary of the first proclamation of Gospel of Jesus Christ on these shores. The introduction of Christianity on the Philippine shores is generally linked to the celebration of the first Holy Mass. Butuan City and Limasawa, Southern Leyte, claims to be the venue of this historical religious rite. Hopefully, this controversy in the country's history will have been resolved by March 31, 2015, when the Philippines celebrates its 500th year of Christianization. Efren Danao, a veteran political journalist, died on January 20, 2022 at 75 in United States. He graduated with a journalism degree from the university in 1968. Danao was a section editor, desk man, and senior reporter of the Philippine Star. Danao also worked as a political columnist for the Manila Times and covered the House of Representatives. His sources are National Historical Institute, NHI, and other people who contribute to the history like historian Father Francisco Colon, S.J., and the Jesuit writer Father Francisco Combes, S.J. He intends to remove confusion about the first Mass in the Philippines. His sources are National Historical Institute, NHI, and other historians.
The National Historical Institute, or NHI, has already concluded a 2-year study. In 1996, it reaffirmed the popular belief propelled by Republic Act 2733 that the first Holy Mass was celebrated on Limasawa Island on March 31, 1521. The NHI cited the memoir of Antonio Pigafetta, who chronicled the expedition of Ferdinand Magellan as the only credible primary source that yields the best evidence of the celebration of the Christian Mass on the Philippine soil. Historians found out that the Butuan tradition is invalid, thereby creating a better practice, the Limasawa tradition. Although the Limasawa tradition came after the Butuan, it was proven with piece of evidence that the first Mass in the Philippines took place on Limasawa Island in the Visayas on March 31, 1521. It was also affirmed that on the same date, Magellan with his troops planted a cross on the same site, Cebu living the good life in the beautiful island 2006. Unlike the other, the tradition is supported by several solid proofs, including the Albos logbook, evidence of Pigafetta, and evidence from Legazpi's expedition. In Albos' account did not mention the first Mass and where it occurred. However, he said that Magellan planted the cross upon a mountain top from which could be seen 3 islands to the west and southwest. This best fits the description of the geographical area of Limasawa, which does not apply to Butuan because there was no island found in those directions. These are strong proofs since these people have been part of Expedition Bernard 1983. Albo and Pigafetta both took part in Magellan's expedition. The former was one of the pilots in Magellan's flagship Trinidad, and the latter was a member of the expedition itself. Therefore, it is based on an eyewitness account. An article by Rolando Morinaga, 2007, on the Inquirer website says that there is an aerial photograph of the prominent hills on Pigafetta's map. It is where Magellan and his troops placed the cross known today as Magellan's Cross. The cross, which symbolized the baptism of Raha Humabon, his wife, and his men into Roman Catholicism, serve today as a tourist spot in Magallanes, Cebu. Hence, the birthplace of Roman Catholicism is in Limasawa and not in Butuan.
Limasawa Island in Southern Leyte Province has been confirmed as the site of the Philippines' first Holy Mass 500th anniversary. The National Historical Commission, NHCP, issued on August 19, 2020, its official position on the site of the 1521 Eastern Sunday Mass that will be part of the country's quincentennial celebration in 2021. The NHCP resolution is anticipated to end claims that the first Holy Mass was held in Agusan del Norte instead.
Dr. Antonio Sanchez de Mora is an archivist and historian, also a doctor in medieval history at Seville University, an archivist and head of reference service in Archivo General de Indias, or Archive of the Indies, at Seville, Spain. Dr. Antonio Sanchez de Mora presented his findings as the centerpiece of 500th anniversary of the Mass at Limasawa, the confusion and sentention over Mazawa, the second installment of the College of Social Science and Philosophy Department of History's Talastasan sa Kasaysayan online lecture series held on March 16, 2021, 4 p.m. over Zoom and broadcast over the National Quincentennial Commission of the Philippines or NQC portal. The Zoom broadcast was produced in Quezon City, Metro Manila at the University of the Philippines College of Social Science and Philosophy, approximately 12,002 km from Cebu, Spain. The first Catholic Mass to be held in the Philippines, the Easter Sunday Mass of 1521, was born on Limasawa Island in southern Leyte. According to research supported by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, Resolution Number 2 was adopted by the NHCP Board of Commissioners on July 15 of last year, assuming the report that the investigating panel had submitted regarding the controversy surrounding the 1521 Easter Sunday Mass in the Philippines.
The first Mass was celebrated on Pigfetas Mazauan, an island off the coast of Leyte. Still, Mazao in Butuan is a neighborhood of Butuan City, situated in a delta of the Agusan River close to the coast of northern Mindanao. Pigfetta charted Mazaua location which was the same as Limasawa's. The pro-Limasawa groups' computation of distance between Homonhon and Limasawa and between Limasawa and Cebu fits Pigfetta's description of distance between Homonhon and Mazaua and between Mazaua and Cebu. In 1996, it confirmed that the widely held belief that the first Holy Mass was held on Limasawa Island on March 31, 1521, as promoted by Republic Act 2733. NHI cited Antonio Pigfetta's tailing of Ferdinand Magellan's expedition as the only credible primary source that yields the best evidence. Celebrated the first Catholic Mass in the nation on March 31, 1521. Friar Pedro Valderrama was sent by Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan. Roman Catholicism was introduced to the country at the Limasawa Mass, and it has since grown to become the majority religion in the country.
The panel was established in November 2018 in response to requests for the location of the Easter Sunday Mass in 1521 from several organizations, including Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines. The proposals were submitted ahead of 2021, when the nation would celebrate the 500th anniversary of the spread of Christianity. The panel recommended that Limasawa Island, southern Leyte, be sustained as the site of the 1521 Easter Sunday Mass. The Commission said in its final report,
"Here are all pieces of evidence that we gathered." The NHI cited the memoirs of Antonio Pigafetta, who chronicled the expedition of Ferdinand Magellan, as the only credible primary source that yields the best evidence of the celebration of the first Christian Mass of the Philippine soil. The Limasawa tradition is supported by several solid proofs, including the Albos logbook, evidence of Pigafetta, and evidence from Legazpi's expedition. Magellan planted the cross upon a mountaintop from which could be seen 3 islands to the west and southwest. This best fits the description of the geographical area of Limasawa. There is an aerial photograph of the prominent hills of Pigafetta's map. It is where Magellan and his troop placed the cross known today as Magellan's Cross. The cross symbolizes the baptism of Fra Humabon, his wife, and his men in Roman Catholicism, which serve today as a tourist spot in Magallanes, Cebu. Hence, the birthplace of Roman Catholicism is Limasawa. The distance between Homonhon and Limasawa and between Limasawa and Cebu fits Pigafetta's description.